cameras. Yeah, so how did you first get involved in all this?
I used to run a film and television company back 10 years ago, and I was filming typically wine and food around the world in like 14 different countries, and gave it all up to become an underwater garbage man, I guess.
Yeah. And what's the most surprising thing that you found out in this whole process?
The most surprising thing that we've found out along the way, I think, is just how widespread this issue is. I was originally inspired in Central America when I just saw a lot of the waste washing up on the beaches, and thought I could basically start a nonprofit and run it in between vintages for winemaking, which was my main kind of film job. And yeah, that didn't work out. It kind of took over my life, and I've been doing this now for 7 years, and almost every issue has had submerged litter or pollution issues that have been there for more than most of us have been alive in this room.
Wow. Yeah. So I mean, it seems like it's a worldwide issue. Like you hear about the crazy pollution in the Pacific Ocean and stuff. And like, what do you think it'll take to really start making it? Well, it sounds like you're starting to make a difference here. But what do you think the scope of it is?
Yeah, I think the world's changing. Climate change is occurring, and got a forest fire that blocked part of my crew even coming down here tonight. And these issues are just kind of getting worse and worse. And so I think water is going to be one of those very important resources. And just in 7 years of being involved, I've seen a lot of issues and other things developing, but I think more people are becoming aware, and we're just trying to do our part, and every single person can make a difference, and so this is the way that I choose to, if you will.
Yeah, questions from the audience?
You're an amazing human.
Thank you. For the other filmmaker.
I know. Very hard. So the question is,
Is there anything that you've ever found that has required like a team? Like I saw that tire and like that. How do you
Yeah, so we've had to develop different tactics as we've gone forward. We've removed over 82,000 pounds of small litter items from the lakes and the Sierras in the last few years.
wow.
And ultimately, like when it started, I mean, I would be walking up the side of lakes 40 feet deep with like 3 or 4 tires around my arms, and and then we realized, oh, we should get like a little rock rope, or we literally duct tape a rock to a rope, and that's how we started. And then now we use lift bags, and we just shoot things up. But we also have over 982 heavy lift litter items that we've GPS pinpointed and photo or video documented, and those are usually between like 300 or 400 and a few thousand pounds. And there's like 770 in Tahoe, for instance, where we're based, and I'd have to get the stats for Mammoth, but I'm sure there's dozens that we've already found in the lakes here as well.
I was wondering if you're talking about approaching the kids, how about the fishing community, teaching them how to keep fish in the lake that's healthy and good to eat? Because it doesn't seem like all these tires are good for fish. And fishermen fishing season is, here,
It is, and yeah, no, the tires, the litter, everything definitely isn't good for them. But yeah, we have been, working with the fishing community as well. And thanks to Mammoth Lakes Tourism, they've actually taken us down a couple of years in a row to the Bart Hall Fishing Show in LA and Long Beach. And so we're always communicating there, spreading awareness where we can. And we've even partnered with the town and MLT as well to put some signage up at Lake George recently as well, trying to spread awareness of this issue. So doing what we can to spread the word.
Or spread the fish or local fish in the restaurants.
One more question.
Yeah, I'm curious if you've witnessed like a particularly moving realization or a transformation in someone who maybe didn't know about this issue, like especially the kids that you work with?
I mean, I think the kids are, definitely where you see some of that transformation. I actually had a call from our operations person this morning, and we hosted 40 Montessori students from Reno to do a litter sorting this afternoon. And he told me a story of one kid who was talking to his dad on the way up and was like, why are we doing this? This is stupid, Dad. I don't want to go. And they said they watched him while he was doing it, and he was just having so much fun sorting things in the 83 categories for the environmental scientist, and learning how that's going to help educate and make a difference later is important too. And so, you know, the more people get into it, I think there's a little transformation. And even when people get out and do the work, it becomes more of a treasure hunt, or you dive into the purpose, and so it's good fun.
Nice. So what's coming up next in terms of documenting this work, or as filmmaking for you in general?
Yeah, definitely. Up next in kind of this line, like this series is a short format series that we do to really just kind of showcase the different work that the organization does and chronicle the dive team's efforts. But we have a feature documentary called 72 Miles that is coming out, and it's just been applied to about 20 or 30 festivals internationally. And then we'll be working on a new film on climate change's impacts on our fresh and saltwater ways. So people have seen the domoic acid poisoning of like the whales and the dolphins and everything up the Southern California coastline that's been happening. And likewise in freshwater, we're also seeing a lot of harmful algae blooms up here. That, you know, is a safety concern for our divers jumping in the lake, and things like that forest fire on at Mona Lake right now is something that loads nutrients into our waterways and can promote those harmful algal blooms that can risk, you know, our lives, the lives of our dogs if they're up there playing in a local lake. So starting to dig into that next topic.
We get to keep it moving, but thank you so much for sharing this with us and for all the work that you do.